said this morning that if they don't make their iPhones in the U.S., you're going to hit them with a 25% tariff.
Right.
Do you have the power to tariff one single company? And why would you want to hurt an American company in that way?
It would be more. It would be also Samsung and anybody that makes that product. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair. So anybody that makes that product, and that'll start on, I guess, the end of June. It'll come out. I think we have that appropriately done by the end of June. So if they make that product. Now, again, when they build their plant here, there's no tariff. So they're going to be building plants here. But I had an understanding with him that he wouldn't be doing this. He said he's going to India to build plants. I said, that's okay to go to India, but you're not going to sell into here without tariffs.
And there it is. If you're one of the very small minority of Americans who uses, what's that product again? Oh, right. A cell phone, get ready to pay more. Why? Because Donald Trump is under the assumption that Apple is going to move manufacturing right to the United States. Now, to be clear, they won't, because if you think that tariffs are going to make these phones expensive, you can't imagine what they would cost if they were actually manufactured inside of this country. And so, in effect, the only practical result of these tariffs, knowing that Apple isn't going to produce them inside of America, is that iPhones will be more expensive, along with Samsung phones and any other comparable products. Just one more product being targeted as Donald Trump's war on American consumers. But still, that didn't stop him from barreling ahead.
What makes you confident, sir, that Apple can build in the United States at a price that American consumers?
Oh, they can. No, they can. And a lot of it's so computerized now. These plants are amazing if you look at them, but they can do that. And actually, as you know, Apple's coming in with $500 billion. So are the chip companies. We have all of the chip companies coming in. The biggest, $500 billion, $200 billion, $250 billion they're spending. But we're talking about the iPhone now, and the iPhone. If they're going to sell it in America, I want it to be built in the United States. They're able to do that.
So let me get this straight. His red line here is that he wants iPhones to be made in the United States. According to analysts, a fully made in the USA iPhone would cost $3,500, up from just over $1,000. In other words, you're seeing a more than 300% price increase. So either way, Trump will absolutely ensure that you pay more, either thanks to the tariffs that he's imposing that won't reshore Apple manufacturing and instead just make your phones more expensive because of that import tax, or because Apple does reshore manufacturing here in the US, and then you're left paying a 300% premium to account for the increases in labor costs. Heads I win, tails you lose. And as it relates to those tariffs, Trump actually just issued a major concession.
When you say that Walmart should eat the cost of the tariffs, is that an acknowledgement that it is U.S. companies that bear the brunt of tariffs, not foreign countries?
Sometimes the country will eat it, sometimes Walmart will eat it, and sometimes there'll be something to pay, something extra.
Sometimes Walmart will eat it? Sometimes there will be something extra to pay? Hold on, I'm sorry, but what? I was told by the ultimate authority on tariffs, Donald J. Trump himself, that they're paid only by foreign countries.
We're going to be a tariff nation. It's not going to be a cost to you. It's going to be a cost to another country. I heard Kamala the other day, Comrade Kamala, she said, oh, if you do that, he's raising your taxes. No. I'm not raising your taxes. I'm raising China. And all of these countries in Asia and all over the world, including the European Union, by the way, which is one of the most egregious.
Yeah, thank God we don't have Comrade Kamala bringing her communist ideas into the Oval Office, like the suspension of habeas corpus and due process, the arresting of judges, the disappearing of political opponents, the banning of books, and the acceptance of foreign gifts for preferential treatment. I mean, could you imagine if she turned the United States into some extremist hellscape? Phew. But back to the tariffs, Donald Trump had promised us that they would absolutely be paid by foreign countries. So why suddenly is the onus going to be on companies like Walmart, or worse, American consumers? Probably because that was always the case. Trump knows it was always the case. Anyone who's ever taken freshman level economics knows it was always the case. And soon, every single American consumer is going to realize that it was always the case, because they're going to see their own prices surge. And so now comes the part where Trump tries to slowly backtrack on his own promises and his own policies in an effort to mitigate some of the inevitable damage. This is the first step in his effort to pretend that his own policy somehow isn't his own fault. But all is not lost, because while prices might be rising for roughly 350 million people, at least one person is much better off. And frankly, it's the only person who truly matters.
Tonight was Trump's big crypto dinner. He hosted the top 220 investors in his meme coin at his golf club in Virginia. These people gave Trump's business a combined $394 million for this dinner in one night. Seats went from $55,000 to $37 million a pop.
That's right. While he's busy making sure that quite literally everything you buy is getting more expensive, he's using the opportunity to rake in billions from those looking to curry favor with Trump. But before any of you even entertain the notion that Trump is somehow profiting off of the presidency, listen to this.
It's absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off of the presidency. This president was incredibly successful before giving it all up to serve our country publicly. And not only has he lost wealth, but he also almost lost his life. He has sacrificed a lot to be here, and to suggest otherwise is frankly completely absurd.
I want to thank you for your vision, for your courage, for standing up. You know, President Trump is a populist president. He's a president he's blamed for giving money to billionaires and all this stuff. We hear about that all the time. But he is on the side of the middle class, the working class, the poor in this country.
Now, I'm not saying that that's the brainworm talking, but yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. The reality is that while Trump's slavish devotees and mouthpieces might be perfectly content to lie with abandon, the numbers don't. And the numbers reveal that in just over 100 days, Trump's net worth has already doubled to $5.4 billion. And last time I checked, the presidential salary wasn't $2.5 billion, which means that he's clearly figured out a way to profit off the presidency. So I suppose as he works to ensure that we all pay more for literally fucking everything, at least when you throw Trump's own consolidation of wealth into the equation, it all averages back to normal. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.